The purpose of this video is to walk you through Lab 4. So the first thing we need to do is download our data. When we need to download it as an Excel file. So here we go. Open it up. If your teacher had you in 2 different groups, you might have 2 tabs. So make sure you're in the right tab, depending on where you were assigned. If it was all one big group, then there probably won't be multiple tabs. We need to enable editing or it's not going to let us do anything. So I did that. And now we need to add average and standard deviation for our process data. So I'm typing in this cell, average and standard deviation. Remember from our previous videos that average is a formula that Excel already knows. You just type the word average and then you select the entire row. We're finding the averages for the different tool types, not for the different trials. It doesn't make sense to compare trials. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the different types of tools and how the Finches use them. Standard deviation is also a formula that Excel knows. Oops. It's the stdev.s. Open parenthesis, select, and remember that we can hold down the Shift key to make selecting a whole row easier. Enter. Okay, we don't want to waste time. We want to copy this formula. So this is the cross that we want. And we're going to drag it all the way down. This is the cross that we want. Drag it all the way down. And then the reason that we're getting an error here is that you told Excel to calculate a formula, but then there's no values for it to do that with. So it's bothering me. So I'm going to right click and clear the contents. Okay, it's gone now. So this wouldn't be appropriate for your final lab report because for one, the data isn't all recorded to the same decimal place. The data is not centered. This I put in the wrong line. There's no borders. So I'm doing this to show you how to make the graph, but don't assume that this table is good enough. Your tables need to be more polished than this. Okay, so we want to select the averages for Insula Maxima. I'm going to zoom out a bit. And using those numbers, I'm going to tell Excel to insert a graph. The kind of graph we're going to insert is a 2D column. So here we go. I'm going to put this right here, right there, and I'm going to zoom in again. Zoom in. Okay, so we have a chart based on our values. But this is not a very useful chart because we don't know what each column represents. So we can click on those bars and we're going to right click and we're going to do select data. We see horizontal category axis labels. The labels right now are 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's not what we want. So we're going to hit edit. And then Excel is prompting us to enter what the labels are. So I need to go back over here, and I'm going to select the 4 cells that have our correct 4 labels. And I'm going to hit OK. OK again. Let me jump back to my graph. OK, now it says forceps, binder clip, clothespin, hair clip. So we should be happy with that. The next thing we need to do is add the columns for the other island. So I'm going to do a similar step. I right click, select data, and can you see that it says series 1 here? We're going to add an additional series, series 2. You can ignore series name for now. Delete that. And the values that we want to base this graph on are these values here. Okay. Okay again. We want to spot check a few. So Insula Maxima for the forceps was 5.1. That looks good. Insula Minima for the forceps 6.3. Okay, looks like we did it right. We want to add a legend because as it is, we don't know what these two colors represent. And remember, your guiding principle should always be, is this graph making something clear about my data that a person who didn't participate in the experiment wouldn't already know? So right now it's not doing a very good job of communicating, so we need to add a legend. So we're adding a legend. And then the position of the legend, that's up to you and your artistic choice. I think I'll put it up there for now. Okay, not a very good legend because it doesn't tell us what those colors represent yet. So we're going to do one more time, select data. And you see it says series 1 and series 2. We're going to edit that, edit series 1 first. Remember, series 1 was the first one we did, and that was Insula Maxima. Okay. And then series 2, edit Insula Minima. Okay. Okay again. And now our legend is clear. You should realize that we're not done because we don't have error bars. So I'm going to click. Please notice that you can toggle between the two data sets. When you add your error bars, make sure you're adding the correct error bars for the correct island, because you can see that the standard deviations are different. So you wouldn't want to apply the standard deviations for Insula Minima to Insula Maxima, or vice versa. So I have Insula Maxima selected. I'm going to add chart element, error bars. Hopefully you realize that that's a mess. That's not what you want. Do not select standard deviation. We have to go to more options. Scroll down to custom. And then we need to specify the value. So we're doing, for both the positive and negative, because we want these to be symmetrical, the standard deviations. For the -2, delete what's in there. And select the standard deviations. Okay. Spot check a few, make sure that it looks like you got these correct. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other data set. So I'll just show you again. Error bars, more options, scroll down, custom, specify value, and then of course you want the standard deviation this time for Insula Minima, not for Insula Maxima again. That one. Negative error bars as well. Okay. Okay, it looks like we did that okay. You want to add axis labels, horizontal, add chart element, vertical, and then of course you want to edit your chart title and axis labels to be appropriate. Remember to include what the error bars represent in your title. Good luck.